Hey everybody, Gold Telegraph over at Twitter tweeted out the following. That's Jerome Powell right there. And I just love the look on his face. And I think that about sums up what's happening right now with the U.S. economy and actually throughout the world, with central banks just going crazy, just going mad with debt creation, with the loans, with stimulus. Let's see if we can add some music right there as well. Right, isn't it interesting how the Targets, the Walmarts, the Home Depots, the Costcos all saw huge increases in their business over the past few months since we've been in the lockdown. So we have mostly the small businesses getting ravaged financially with the shutdown, with the quarantines. Now add on top of this all of the small businesses that are getting decimated, looted, and destroyed. We have a very, very dire situation on our hands, a very dangerous situation. This next report comes here out of Canada. 3/4 of small businesses did not pay rent. Now, we looked at the numbers here in the United States previously. We saw it started off as 1/3 of businesses didn't pay rent. Then it was 1/2. We're likely going to see a similar report come out very soon, showing that things are getting worse. Things are getting worse in Canada. But most of the recent incidents, the unrest, is happening here in the United States. It's happening across the globe, but most of it's happening here in the United States. So now on top of the quarantines, the shutdowns, the lockdowns that caused the initial financial carnage, we now have the looting and the damage and destruction. On top of this, get ready, folks. Things are going to be a lot worse. Unemployment's going to be high in this country for a very, very long time. We're going to see many, many more people dependent on the system. And guess what? That means the people that are not living off the system are going to get higher taxes. They're going to have to pay more. Even though this is money created out of nothing. Prepare for higher taxes. Inflation will rise, and taxes are a part of inflation. It's an overall cost of living. You have to factor that into the inflation numbers. And of course, the official inflation numbers is not going to tell you that because, again, it's manipulated, it's cherry-picked, it's a fake and fraudulent number. But rising prices and inflation, look out, folks. Chart here out of CNBC. Initial unemployment claims are now at 42 million. This is just since the shutdown began back in mid-March when most of the country started getting locked down. Now, mid-June, that's going to put us at the 3-month mark, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it at 44 million, 45 million about that time. So are things getting better or are things getting less worse when you look at that declining number, but compare it to prior to the shutdown and see how much worse it actually is versus just 3 or 4 months ago? All right, so I've used this analogy before. If you go to work on Monday and get 2 of your toes chopped off, and then you go to work on Tuesday and get 1 of your toes chopped off, it doesn't make Tuesday a good day because you're down another toe. It's less worse than Monday because you lost 2 toes. But this is what a lot of the media is trying to put out there as hope. Well, things are getting better. Meanwhile, businesses are getting destroyed, looted. There's unrest like we haven't seen in this country for decades. Things are not looking good. Now, folks, let's talk about this again. The cities are the most dangerous place you can be. If you ever needed proof, just look at the news right now, what's happening. And we've talked about this, but let's touch on some more topics regarding this. It is the system that we are under right now that has most of the jobs in the city. If you work for the government in some way, the city, the state, you're going to be downtown. Most office buildings are downtown. Most of the population is now herded into the larger cities. Now, the sale of self-defense units has absolutely skyrocketed. It's breaking records right now. People are realizing how dangerous things are getting, but it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. There's going to be absolute chaos, even worse that we're seeing right now. When this financial system is allowed to collapse, and eventually they will allow it to collapse, I am 100% convinced of that. You're going to need to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect what you have. That is number one. All of the discussions that we talk about investments, saving money, avoiding financial ruin, doesn't mean anything if you can't protect it or if someone comes and hurts you or your family or completely robs you. Right, absolutely. Protect yourself. You might want to think about where you're living at, if you're in a good situation, what kind of neighbors you have. In general, if you live around other homeowners, that's typically safer. And just going off of experience, you get a little bit of a community type of feel when you're surrounded by other homeowners, people with pride of ownership, people that want to protect their property, people that talk to their neighbors. A lot of people here in California, you never even meet your neighbors. It's kind of isolated. Right, but I would really think twice about where you're living at. I am looking at moving out of my neck of the woods here in San Diego when the time is right. Keeping an eye on the property market, of course. But imagine what's going to happen. You see the danger out there right now. Imagine a financial collapse when you have millions of people that are dependent on the system, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day, the system is not there for you. The checks are not being sent out. You swipe the cards don't work. The EBT cards are not being sent out, or they're not working. Right? You think people are angry now, and I think the situation is only going to escalate as far as the violence, because now you have this back and forth. You have, people assaulting the police, police getting killed, and now that's going to make the police more aggressive. We're probably going to see more situations. And I think this is coming from the top down. I think they are meaning to tear people apart. Remember, this is divide and conquer. They're doing it financially. They're doing it socially. Right? Look at all of the tweets, the things that are being said to incite more division, more animosity. Again, it's the people versus each other. It's the population divided going against each other. No one is pointing at the top to figure out who's orchestrating all this. This is a top-down plan, believe me. And I think we all need to prepare in many different ways for what is coming, financially, physically. Physically, that's very important. I read a report that people are actually gaining weight. I think it was about 5 pounds right now from being on lockdown, from being isolated. People are not exercising. People are more depressed. People are drinking more and eating more. And I would encourage you to get outside and get some exercise, get some sun. Use this extra time if you've lost a job. Use this extra time to get into better shape. You may not be in better shape financially, but I can tell you, I would rather be in better shape physically and healthy versus being sickly and have a lot of money. I would choose physical health over financial health. Having both is the best, of course, but don't let your health get destroyed just because you're maybe not doing financially well right now. Even if you are doing financially well, having your health is everything. What good is money if you're too sickly and crippled up to go ahead and spend it? You know what I mean? Right? So I would encourage everyone to take this time to work on yourself, stay safe, try to get prepared for things to get worse. I hope they get better. I hope there's going to be some sort of miracle that pulls the country out of this downward spiral. But this is very, very dangerous. We all saw this coming. We didn't know the exact events that were going to start causing the chaos. And what does the saying go? If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. And right now we're seeing lots of things go wrong. Things that most people thought would never happen. It could never happen to us. We're the United States. Right? It doesn't happen here. It's only in these other countries. And people did see lots of events happening around the world. A lot of unrest, a lot of financial despair, a lot of poverty, and people still to this day think that things cannot get worse here. Things can get worse, and they're definitely going to get a lot worse. Now, not for everybody. You have the upper class people, the politicians, the celebrities, the millionaires, the CEOs and executives, you name it, the top 1%. They're behind their walls in their gated communities. They're going to be just fine. It's the working class, the middle class out here, you and I, that need to be the most aware of what's happening and to prepare for things to get worse. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be a doom and gloomer. Just prepare yourself. Protect what you have. Know how to protect yourself. You might want to get some self-defense units. Get into better shape. If someone breaks into your house, are you going to be able to fight them off, or you're going to be gasping for air after only 10 seconds? That's not a good situation to be in. There's plenty of channels I watch here on YouTube for motivation to work out. I do a little cardio, a little bit of jumping rope, things like that. Nothing serious, nothing that requires me to have a gym membership. And I say that because lots of gyms are closed down right now. Some of them are reopening, but If you don't have a gym membership because you just don't want to pay the money, or your gym is closed, or you just don't have one in your area, find something to do to work out. Even yard work. I was doing yard work the other day, and I hauled a couple buckets full of dirt from down this hill that we have in our backyard. And going up and down the hill with a bucket of dirt 5 or 6 times, that was a workout. The next day I was actually a little bit sore, and I was thinking to myself, wow, why would I ever pay for a gym membership when I could just go in the backyard and do some planting and some yard work and get a workout? Or maybe it means I just need to get into better shape regardless. But thanks for watching this report, everybody. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this continued unemployment surge. All of the debt, the stimulus, the cash injections that are being done right now to keep the system from imploding. How much longer do we have? I think you know my time frames. I've talked about it a few times. I'd like to hear from you on this one down in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.